Resident Evil Netflix series. Yeah, it's safe to say that no one really liked the live adaptation, but I keep wondering who the audience they try to appeal to. But first we had to understand a little bit about the plot. So the first episode is called Welcome to New Raccoon City, and you see older Jade is on a mission, and to be honest, I don't know why she's by herself. After almost getting killed by a horde of zombies, she wakes up a monster that was basically sleeping underground and eventually knocking her out. And that's when we get the past Jade and her sister named Billy. Albert Wesker is there too, but not that Wesker, this Wesker. And yes, this is supposed to be canon from the games.
So, you've made it this far. Too bad you won't make it much further.
But okay, Billy and Jade are moving to Raccoon City, where Wesker is going to be working for Umbrella, which is the most evil company in the world. Like, Jade being one of the worst characters in the show, just how upset she is and how bratty she could very be. And the funny thing is, she even knows it. And by far, even from her older self, is not much of an improvement. Everywhere she goes, she legitimately kills everybody she knows. And even they told her that most of the times that, yeah, that is her fault. And of course, this is one of the flaws of the show that they had to offer, especially since the character is not very much liked. And her sister twin is Billy, who is almost as unbearable to be around with. So the more time passes, they're trying to adjust from being new kids in the block. Billy has trouble fitting in. So of course, Jade is there trying to bail her out and just makes things worse. And of course, it's just ridiculous, one thing after another, just petty fights with Jade and Billy going back and forth. Like, you could easily point this out as a CW show. And I did enjoy the actor who played Wesker, but I do love him when he wears the Blade uniform, which was kind of ridiculous, but in a funny kind of way. And I'm hoping at least he keeps the uniform, you know, at least a small little payment. So Richard Baxter was kind of a mix for me. He was bad at first, then he grew on me later on, but just before you start to like him, he dies just like every other character that interacts with the older Jade. And we come across another character in this series is Evelyn Marcus, is one of the villains of the show, trying to get rich, trying to infect the world with an unknown virus pill, which she could have been a forgettable villain if it wasn't for this scene.
Just take a look at this. Oh my God.
It's awful!
The whole plotline of Resident Evil is just pretty much the twins, Billy and Jade, trying to uncover Umbrella's evil plans, and Albert Wesker is there. And of course, there's another plotline with mostly about Jade and just trying to find the cure for the T-virus. And the worst thing is, the whole thing for Resident Evil might have been killed off because of this TV series. It wasn't because of the movies or 3D animations. It definitely wasn't the games.
This house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!
I put more blame of Capcom for actually greenlighting this series in the first place, but that's just me. But now for the big question, who was this for? It wasn't for the die-hard or the casual fans of Resident Evil gamers, even though they claimed to be that it was supposed to be, and especially it was supposed to be canon as well. And it definitely wasn't for the Resident Evil moviegoers who enjoyed the franchise for what it was. It all came down to people who never even heard of Resident Evil before, or played the games at all, or just most likely that they just found it in the category list of Netflix top 10, which they just clicked on it and actually had a good time. And I don't blame them for doing that. It's just they never heard of it and they just find whatever that is entertaining. And how did it become like that? Well, because of the director himself, and the creator says this: "You don't need to know anything about the games or the movies to understand this story. If you know a little, if you're familiar with the games at all, there are Easter eggs in there that you'll pick up on. But you could come in completely blind and you would have a good time." And this part right here, if you're familiar with the games at all, there are Easter eggs, which there are pretty cool Easter eggs, I like to admit that. But that was it, just Easter eggs. Even the infamous Chainsaw Man made an appearance, which was brought down with just a single bullet. And of course, fans didn't take very kindly with that, because it took more than just a single bullet to take the Chainsaw Man down. And of course, who never saw these characters just saw them as throwaway monsters. And the creator of Resident Evil Netflix series was trying to please from newcomers and to the old comers as well who enjoyed the video games. And that's a problem. If you try to please everyone, you're not going to please no one at all. And the only thing they had interest is the name itself and nothing else. And that's a shame because most likely they're not going to take a chance to make another video game live adaptation again. And if I have to rate this horrible mess of a TV series, it's definitely going to be a 2 out of 10. It's really not worth your time. I hope Netflix and Capcom learned a valuable lesson, especially Capcom, since they actually green-lighted this in the first place. And I'm pretty sure that Netflix still didn't learn their lesson, especially they have another couple of projects that are live adaptations, which I'm not looking forward to, but we'll see. If you guys enjoyed this video and you like to see more, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Honey movie review. Later, guys.
I'm really embarrassed to see you now. Just leave me. Go quickly.
It's over, Barry.